going to get you beat. Carter, as far as the three quarterbacks go, I think it's probably a foregone conclusion in a lot of people's minds that Justin Worley's going to be the guy. But what are your thoughts on Nathan Peterman? God, why can't I say his name? Nathan Peterman and his prospects of passing Josh Dobbs for the backup role.
Well, everybody can improve from last year, and to be honest, we only saw Peterman play in one game, and yeah, it looked terrible against Florida, but you throw someone like that in an environment, I mean, you can't always expect the results to be great, but it doesn't surprise me as much as you would think. I think Josh Dobbs is a good quarterback. Peterman, I mean, it's just not surprising that he might jump Josh Dobbs. He's a little bit older. He's got a little more time in the program. I know that Dobbs has probably got more experience, but, Peterman's a redshirt sophomore, so he's been there a while. And, I mean, hey, if Peterman comes out and beats the starter this year, as long as he can win games for us, I don't care.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think it really matters. 855-403-9071. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. I know there's got to be at least a half a person out there listening. Maybe somebody's dog could call in and give their opinion on what's going on with this team. We listened together last night to the Butch Jones presser after the scrimmage, Carter, and I'm going to touch on a few things that that he said, and you can talk a little bit about some of the things you heard.
Y'all.
You felt were important.
Y'all definitely got listeners. I'm seeing at least 20 on right now.
Well, come on, listeners, 855-403-9071. Don't be scared. Give us a call. We want to hear what you think. Nobody cares what we think at this point. We want to hear what the common fan thinks. Coach Jones this weekend, he talked about how the team has grown up and matured a little bit. He liked their approach and their mindset to the scrimmage, practicing in Neyland Stadium. I don't know what his comment about 102.455 or whatever it is had to do with anything, but he brought that up. No one was allowed into the scrimmage. The media wasn't allowed until after it was over. So, maybe he has a better imagination than we thought. Talked about the young guys struggling with their 63 effort. I think that is normal for young guys that were practicing high school football this time last year, Carter. They come into an environment that is totally different than anything they had ever seen at high school. I know you've seen Tennessee practice. I've seen them practice, and it's to say organized chaos that is the perfect way to describe it. Speaking of organized chaos, this Saturday, August the 16th, at 7 p.m., you will be allowed to come into Neyland Stadium and see Tennessee practice. It's absolutely free. Parking is free anywhere you can find a spot, as far as I know, and it should be a fun time again. And, of course, Sterling Hinton will be there doing his thing. I know how much Tennessee fans love that guy. That was my attempt at sarcasm. Carter, what did you take away from the press conference and the things that you heard Butch Jones say about scrimmage number one?
Well, he's a little bit more happier than he was. I think I said that earlier, than the way fall camp started. There's still a lot of errors being made, of course. Like you said, you got a lot of young guys. There's going to be a lot of mistakes. But, there's hope. And like you said earlier, organized chaos, that's an understatement. In every drill they're running. I mean, Tennessee don't walk. And
go ahead.
They don't walk. And so I think there's a method to his madness, but we still got a long way to go. Got a really tough schedule. I mean, fall camp's not over, but we definitely need to improve a little bit more, more faster than what we're doing it.
Butch Jones spoke about Derek Barnett, a defensive end, young guy, freshman guy that's really been showing out for the entirety of the camp now. We're talking 8-9 days. I don't know really what that means, if it means anything or if it's going to have an effect on how that defensive line plays this year. But a lot of talk about these young guys that have really been stepping up. I heard Ole Miss coach Hugh Freeze talked about their young guys last year hitting a wall about somewhere around game 9 or 10. Is that a concern for Tennessee this year, Carter? Because obviously we're going to be playing a lot of young guys and probably a lot of young guys early. Are you concerned about them hitting the proverbial wall, or do you think they'll be able to work their way through that?
To be honest with you, Key, I think they're going to come out hitting a wall. I think as the season goes on, they'll get better. Now, I know that's hard to say, but I've seen it. It's been done. There are teams that have started off slow and finished really good. But in Ole Miss's case, you know, they got to that 9th game, like you said, and they hit a wall. But I think it's going to be the exact opposite, especially with our schedule. After the first 2 games, it's just brutal. But I think like week 6, week 7, our offensive line, defensive line really going to gel well. The young guys are going to have a lot of experience, and we're going to be a pretty darn good football team at that point.
Well, I sure hope you're right. I think what Hugh Freeze was referring to more so than what they've learned is the mental aspect of being able to continue comprehending everything and keeping it straight in their mind, and most importantly, the physical part. You know, a lot of these high school kids, they don't play 15 games in a season or 14 games or 13 games or whatever. Of course, Tennessee hasn't been playing that many either, but the point being, after 7, 8, 9, even possibly up to 10 games playing an SEC schedule, the legs become a little bit softer, the mind becomes a little bit softer, the arms become a little bit softer, you kind of feeling like Gumby running around out there. Hopefully they'll be able to battle through that. I know it's a natural progression for kids as they do that, and it's just part of the game, but we're going to depend on those kids to, when they get to that wall, to bust through it. I want to talk just briefly about Oklahoma. Now, there's been a lot of talk from other fans, and I know Oklahoma's our 3rd game of the season, and that shouldn't even be coming out of our mouths right now. And I get that. I get all of that. What I want to discuss is everybody that I've heard says that we're going to get our heads knocked off when we go to Oklahoma. And that's a reasonable thought. They're loaded, they're experienced, they're veterans. We're not. So naturally, when you go on the road to a hostile environment like Norman, Oklahoma, you just think it's going to be Oregon all over. But what bothers me about some of the folks is the fact that they're not given any chance whatsoever to Tennessee. And of course, I know, like I said, we've got 2 tough games in front of Oklahoma, so I really shouldn't even be worried about it. But what bothers me about that, Carter, is just people have folded the tent up and given up already. That bothers me as a Tennessee fan. And should it bother me? And how do you feel about that?
We look at Oklahoma, and they're just going to be a top 5 team. They've got their entire front 7 on defense back. They lost a couple guys in the secondary, but their offensive line is all back. They just came off a huge win against Alabama. Whether or not Alabama wanted to be there or not doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But it's just going to be, I mean, I understand it's frustrating. It's frustrating to admit defeat and to see our fans do that. I mean, the thing that irritates me, you'll see people saying, well, yeah, I'm going to the Oklahoma game just because I want to go see Oklahoma. I know we're not going to win, but I just want to go and see what it's all about. Why would you waste your money? Like, okay, you get to go see the University of Oklahoma, Big 12 football. We play in the SEC every year, so what does that matter? But, yeah, it's frustrating. Tennessee doesn't take the backseat to nobody, and that's the truth. And I know we're not where we used to be or where we need to be, but I really will never accept defeat totally to any team. I know that our chances are slim against Oklahoma, but there's always a chance any given Saturday.
Well, you said it, any given Saturday, and my point here is not even, I've joked around with everybody saying that we're going to kick Oklahoma's butt. And even the Oklahoma fans, I've told them, get ready for it. We're going to come out there and shock the world and kick your butt. And I've actually been laughed at by Tennessee fans for saying things like that. Like, you've got to be out of your damn mind, boy. Well, no, I'm not out of my mind for having faith in my team. I realize we're going to be the underdogs. Shit, we probably should be the underdogs against Utah State, the way everybody's talking about these guys. Chucky Keaton. They played Auburn tooth and nail 2 or 3 years ago. Big friggin' deal. It's Utah State. They lost everybody. They returned, 7 starters? I'm never going to bow down to a shit team like that, especially before the season even starts. And I apologize for bringing Oklahoma up 5 weeks before we even go out there, 6 weeks or whatever it is. But that's something that's just been kind of weighing on my mind a little bit here lately.
Here's what people got to understand, though. I don't mean to chime in, guys, but I mean, when you've lost recruits thanks to, Lane Kiffin or whatever you want to call him, 4 years in a row, that's hard. That's hard for any team. I would see it hard for Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, LSU, or any, top-tier team, the bounce back after losing a bunch of recruits for 4 years in a row.
I agree, Ray. That's pretty much common sense that when you lose a bunch of recruits, your program's going to slip. And Derek Dooley, people can say what they want about Lane Kiffin. The one class that he brought in here, which was ranked as the number 1 class that year, was probably the biggest bust of any class that I've ever seen in my lifetime. But, we have a caller.
Hey, what's up? This is Unc.
What's up, Unc?
Oh, none. I just got this phone call about 30 minutes ago from Carter, and I just noticed that he was live, and I just wanted to return his phone call. What happened, Carter?
I must have pocket called you, Unc. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right, man. I hate to interrupt your guys' show, man. I was just calling to see what Carter wanted. All right, man. Y'all continue, man.
Have some of your buddies down there call us, Unc. We need some callers. We need somebody.
Hey, you know what? That's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna get some phone. I'm gonna see what I could do with. How long y'all boys gonna be on?
We'll be on for at least another 30 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can get some people to call y'all right now.
We're not big time like Cane Shades yet and Bulldawg World Order. We can't come on here and talk for 3 hours like the big guys yet, but we're working on it, man. We're working on it.
Man. Hey, man, y'all doing an excellent job, man. I actually like listening to you guys. Hey, I always tell you, BBD, you're always my number 1 fan, man.
Yeah, to the gates of hell, brother. To the gates of hell, right?
Okay, I'm gonna see what I could do. I'm gonna holler back.
All right, man.
All right.
Their boy from Cane Shades, of course. No complaints with those guys. Is that another caller or the end of his?
End of his.
Okay. No complaints with the guys at Cane Shades, but one of us has a complaint about the other guys over at the other show. That'd be Uncle Lou and Magnum. Carter, this is where I turn the show over to you and allow you to say what's on your mind, my friend.
Hold on one second, BVD. That was funny as heck impression of Uncle Lou. I'm sorry.
All right, well, first of all, let me just say, congrats to the Bulldawg World Order. The show's doing really well. It looks like, they went on for 3 hours the other day, but Uncle Lou, man, I got to talk to you, brother. Listen to me, man. You talked about Tennessee in your show, and look, I don't care if you talk about Tennessee. I really don't. I expect you to. You're a Georgia fan. I expect you to talk crap about my team as I'm going to talk about your team. But be factual, okay? When you're talking about Tennessee, don't pull, know what you're saying, okay? That's why we're on here. You said that, and a lot of people butcher Butch Jones' name. They call him Butch Davis. That's fine. But you said Butch Jones, and you were talking about how bad of a coach he was. Said, yeah, look what he did at North Carolina. That really worked out. That's totally two different people. Okay, you're talking about Butch Davis coaching at Miami and North Carolina. You got the the wrong guy. I wouldn't have cared if you got the name wrong because, hell, everybody else